All right, guys, listen. The only thing that matters if you subscribe right now or comment or whatever you're doing right now, go to the page. What's the name? Oh, go to the page right now. What's the name? I was talking to my friend right there, the sexy Chauncey the Bear. You know what time it is. There's two of us, and there's two of them, right? Those wrestling girls, there's two of them. Make sure to subscribe, like, watch, enjoy.
Queen P.R, Krista B, those wrestling girls, TWG, Black Excellence, making it effortless, podcast bringing up women and wrestling. Let's go.
Hey everybody, what's up? We're back. It's those wrestling girls. It's your girl Krista B
and Queen P.R.
And today's a very fun light episode. I feel like the last two episodes, the last episode we did, which was on Sunday, was kind of heavy. It was kind of heavy. I don't want to call it dark, but it was very heavy and serious. So today we're just gonna, bring back our little fun side of things and talk about our favorite top 5 live moments that we experienced live.
Yeah.
And although this list was hard to put together because
it really was,
we have a lot. We've been to a lot of events, so we have a lot of memories, but we just had to narrow it down to 5. We might throw a little bonus one.
We'll throw some bonus ones in there, especially as we're talking. I feel like we're gonna think of things. We're like, but but I think what's cool about wrestling in general is that watching it on TV is an experience, and then watching it live is almost like a completely different experience because
I feel like it's that rush,
right? You don't have commentary, so that's actually an adjustment. So that's the other thing that you have to get used to, and then the different crowds depending on what it is. Like if they're the what chant crowd, or if they're hot and just on fire, they can add so much to it. So live shows is really dope. We just went to a dope live show. Shout out to Battle Club Pro. So we're now going to more indie shows, trying to support, Black wrestling on that level as well. And it has not disappointed at all.
It has not disappointed at all. But what I do like when we go to a live event and then we re-watch it on TV, it's like, yep, nope, that's not how that happened. We were there. We saw it for real.
Oh yeah.
We saw it for real. That's not what happened. If you witnessed that Stone Cold Steve Austin botched Stunner on Vince in person, and you go back to watch it, you're just like, that ain't happened. That's not how it went
Great
down.
editing, but I was there. That's not how it happens.
Another thing how it happened
that I've realized recently is the fake chants that they pump in on TV, because I've been to shows where there's a certain crowd reaction and then I rewatch it, or I watch the YouTube clip and I can say that's not what the crowd was saying, that was not how the crowd was reacting. That's why I always take a lot of things I watch on WWE with a grain of salt, because being there live is a completely different experience.
Right. Absolutely. So, but before we get into it, because we already kind of
right.
We have a lot going on, head over heels,
so,
that we didn't
so much going on.
do our check-in. So how you feeling?
I feel so good. I don't know if I'm still living in that mania high or what it is, but I have felt better in the last month than I have in a very, very long time. When it comes to wrestling, I'm excited about it again. When it comes to my personal life, I'm just excited again. It's I don't know, I wake up in the morning and I'm excited for things,
right.
And that feels really great. I went outside recently, so I just been really just trying to live life to the fullest.
Same. I'm focusing I don't know, after that rest of the TWG takeover in Dallas, which we already said we was going to do, and we did it. We might be taking over Nashville. I mean, not Nashville. Yeah, Nashville.
Yeah.
Might be taking over Nashville for SummerSlam. But I just felt it was just we've been on go. We were recently on the Masked Man podcast.
Oh my God. We have to talk about that. We have to talk about that, because that was a game changer. So we've been doing this podcast for 4 years in November, which is insane. but there's certain moments that have happened for us that really just takes our show and brand to the next level. And going to Mania was definitely one of them. But being on the Masked Man podcast, it's a part of the Ringer Wrestling Network on Spotify. So we were on the official wrestling Spotify wrestling platform. Like
Channel.
it's unbelievable.
And it's
Unbelievable to think
amazing.
about.
Like, and to sit and talk wrestling with David Shoemaker and Kazim, like, y'all don't even understand.
What?
David
what?
Shoemaker.
Is this a real life?
When I tell you guys, when I'm so serious, David Shoemaker, I had to reach out to him for my thesis. Like, he's one of the biggest names in wrestling, journalism, wrestling,
really
all of that. And for him to tell me to my face that he normally doesn't even answer emails and things like that because of so much he has going on, but for my email to stand out to him, for him to be a part of my thesis when I was in grad school, and for him to just be so stunned that it was me talking to him at Wale Mania, it was just like, yo, what the hell? Like, and then it's such a full circle moment. Thank you to Brian, Kaz, Kerm, David, the whole Ringer family.
It was a great experience. Like, of course, I was super nervous beforehand because I'm like, this is kind of like the biggest appearance that we've ever done up until this point.
So far,
yeah. Shout out to Brian H. Waters, who
yes, Brian.
hooked it up. I'm so proud of him too. Like, he literally has his dream job in wrestling, and it's just so amazing to see him like thriving. And then to hook, and then he was like our Paul Heyman throughout Dallas and in this instance as well. And all I know is, Brian was like, yeah, Krista B, yeah, I met Shoemaker and Krista got y'all booked on the show. And I was like, of course she did. That's why I love her. So we did it, and it was a great experience. And then like I was nervous, but then once we started, it seemed so seamless. It was like we belong there. And I think that's what made it such a like amazing moment.
Y'all better watch out. Those wrestling girls might be a part of some type of Spotify podcast and network soon. I'm telling y'all,
feel like it's
them
like
coins gonna be rolling in, sis. Okay,
I feel like by next WrestleMania, it's gonna like our experience.
By next WrestleMania,
we're gonna be there in a different capacity.
We will be hosting a panel or a podcast at Access. Like, they're gonna know it's us by next WrestleMania in LA, which is a perfect spot because
The Rock has to show up, period.
And who's over your shoulder? Who's over your shoulder?
We had our moment in Dallas, LA, I'm going to need Dwayne The Rock Johnson to show up for my sis, period. Like, period.
But before we get into our episode, because it's about to get carried away, we're going to take this little quick break to let y'all relish in what we about to expose. Not expose, what we about to let out for you, okay? All right, we'll be back.
It's me, Queen P.R, one half of those wrestling girls, and our friends over at Ripple Junction want us to remind you that all of our favorite designs, including this Roy's War shirt, have gotten relaunched in new designs and a variety of new colors. And you can get a t-shirt for all your favorite fandoms, whether it's The Office, your favorite movies, your favorite brands. There's everything over at Ripple Junction. And don't forget to use the code Those Wrestling Girls to save 15% off. So what are you waiting for? Go on Ripple Junction, use those code Those Wrestling Girls, and post your shirts on social media and tag Ripple Junction.
All right, y'all, we back. We know that you missed us, so we're gonna jump into it. These are our top live show moments, okay? Like I said before, this list was super, super hard. I don't even know why P made me do this.
We probably forgot things and stuff like that, but it'll come to us. And we want to know your like all-time favorite live show moments that you went to in wrestling, whether it's WWE, AEW, we want to know. We'll keep the discussion going. But I'm curious, Krista, what is the first wrestling show you've ever been to?
My first wrestling show, shout out to my cousin Kenneth, because he actually bought my ticket to go to a house show in Madison Square Garden. It was around, I think it was like my 23rd birthday. As much as I was a wrestling fan back then, my aunt was not trying to let me go to the WWF store or try to take me because, WrestleMania season is always like teetering around my birthday, whether it's like
that's true,
mid-March, So my very first live event, I was at a house show, and that's the first time I saw Triple H Kane, Randy Orton. I'm not sure if Taker came out that night. Who else did I see? I saw a lot of dope wrestlers. I'm sitting in that moment. I'm just like, yo, I grew up watching Kane and Triple H and some of Randy Orton. Well, not really. I was kind of teenage years with Randy Orton, but Kane and Triple H, definitely just seeing them. And it was that Christmas. It was around it was the Christmas show. It was around my birthday. I did go to a Christmas one too, so I'm mixing the two up. But it was at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, same. My dad used to take us to house shows a lot. But I remember, because I was so young, that I didn't I didn't appreciate house shows at the time, because I didn't understand that, like, why it wasn't following like what was on Raw every week. Like, I was like very like confused. I was just like, okay, so wait, like what? So but I had never went to like a television taping before. So my first, I remember seeing Triple H. I had never got to see Stone Cold at a house show though, but I do remember my first show, like as an adult, was me and my boyfriend at the time. I was like in my early to mid 20s, and we went to a house show in Jersey, and then WrestleMania. So that was like really cool.
That's dope.
WrestleMania 29.
That's dope. Oh, yeah, you saw The Rock.
Yeah, wait, can I start with that? Because that just has like, it's not one of my favorite live show moments going to WrestleMania 29, but it has a special place in my heart because it's my first WrestleMania. And my boyfriend at the time, he actually got me back into wrestling. And then he, like 2 weeks before WrestleMania, he like spent everything he had on like nosebleed seats. And I remember we were like in Prudential Center, I think it was, or MetLife, and we were in the second row from the top. That's how high we were, Krista. I know you would never
ever again.
We were so high that like when it rained, it felt like we were like right there, like when it started like kind of drizzling. But
it's like somebody was spitting on you.
Yeah, it was like an amazing experience though, because it's who you're with. The people in the nosebleeds were lit, so that helped as well. I didn't move. I did not move because it was so steep, but it was just being there. I remember wearing my old Stone Cold shirt that I had since I was a kid. It had like holes all over it. It was like faded, and I had to wear it like from my childhood self. Like I had to wear that shirt to a WrestleMania because I never thought in my wildest dreams I would be at a WrestleMania. So I just want to kick that off. That was an amazing experience.
I feel like, so we have this list, right? I'm gonna pull up my list on my phone, and although I have this stuff on this list right now, you're bringing up,
see, it's more stuff is coming to you, right?
Right. You're bringing up your very first WrestleMania and whatever, and I'm bringing up, I think I have to really sit and say, and it's hard because this is so hard. So my very first WrestleMania was Mania 35. And although I loved Kofi Mania, I love seeing John Cena come back and beat up Elias as the Thugonomics John Cena in the Word Life. I loved seeing, and I realized I have to cherish this moment because I witnessed Triple H's last match, so to speak.
Oh my God, you did.
Against Batista. I witnessed that.
Wow. It wasn't that Batista's like retirement match too? That's so cool.
I mean, at this point, we got to stop throwing a retirement word out.
Nobody really retires.
Nobody really retires. Yeah, so I appreciated that match. I love that Seth won in the beginning. But, I mean, of course, I love that Roman won as well. I'm not going to say he didn't win. I love that when I was in the beginning, when Seth and Brock were fighting, I was over at the top near Jesus. And me and my cousin Cha-Cha, shout out to Cha-Cha. And I was just like, I can't do this. I can't sit up here. Like, looking down is really steep. It's already cold. Then you have all the pyrotechs and stuff going off, and
a lot going on.
My nerves is bad, y'all. I grew up in the hood. Like, come on.
I don't need no loud noises.
No smoke, no loud, no nothing.
Loud noises. I'm good.
Nothing. So, Shout out to my friend Mike. I was able to move down because of him. And where I moved to, we were so close. I recorded Shane and Miz going off of the scaffolding thing. Like, I recorded that. So close to it. Recorded that. Shout out to cameraman Billy. He was like, that was right in front of me. I didn't know what was going on. I said, okay. That was great. I mean, you witnessed it. You witnessed this for a living. But my favorite moment of the entire WrestleMania, although it lasted for damn near 2 days, was the women's main event.
Yeah.
Being able to witness it, first ever women's main event, triple threat match, and Becky becoming Becky 2 belts.
Yeah, that was an epic moment to experience for sure.
What about
And for that to be your first WrestleMania, that's amazing. So one thing just came in mind that wasn't on the on my list was, and I know this is like super random, but do you remember this SmackDown where Big E did a split?
Did the split? Yes.
We were there for that.
We were there for that.
We were there for that.
That was when they went in the crowd. When they won on. Yeah. Oh yeah, being.
Well, that was a separate occasion. So that well,
that wasn't the same night.
No, that was like a year or so later. Because I remember we were on the other side for when he did the split. And then we were there when they won the tag titles in Brooklyn, and they came into the crowd, and we were celebrating with them. And Krista is really on WWE.
That was the same night. Because remember, we had the seat fillers. No, remember that we had the seat fillers. So they took us up from the side the seat fillers sit on to come around to the other side. So it was
okay. Because I'm like, wait, we were sitting. Okay, yeah, you're so right. Because we moved around a lot that night. But and yes, you're so right. We ended up like right there on the floor, actually.
Right there.
And Krista B is definitely on WWE's website from that night. I did not appreciate it at the time that I was that close to Big E.
P had her. This is a reenactment, y'all. I promise you. She is recording, and I'm looking at her, and she's like, "You're not coming. They're not coming over."
They just kept walking. I'm like, but oh my god, they're coming.
I don't even at this point. I don't even know where the phone went. At this point, all I know is that we were celebrating with them. You see, like the side of my face, and you see my arm in the picture. But when you go back to that Raw, or was it Raw?
I think it was SmackDown, but don't
Raw or SmackDown. When you go back, you actually see me, the whole of me.
Yep.
I appeared in WWE television twice already.
I think me once or twice. They do have the camera on me a lot, but I haven't appeared in anything. So I'm like, what's up?
No, you appeared one time recently. Somebody pointed you out dancing.
Like the Raw after Survivor Series.
Somebody pointed you out dancing. Everybody's like, that Queen P.R. I'm like, that's my sis.
I opened my phone and everybody's like, oh my god, I just saw you on TV. I was like, what, really? And I definitely had to watch that back. I gotta find out what that is so I can like watch it again. I love that now we're remembering different things. Can we talk about us getting lost in AT&T Stadium?
Okay, so y'all, so we were going to. So we came down. We had to come down for the good sis Bianca.
Yes, we were not going to be in the press box.
We wasn't going to be in the press box of Bianca. How can we miss that? And that's definitely one of my next favorite moments, like witnessing the entrance of her using a HBCU band, Texas State University. I think it was Texas State University, and then her coming out, and then her winning, her making history. Like, come on now, making history. Not only did Bianca make history, but we broke Sasha Banks' losing streak at Mania.
Yes, that had to be definitely up there for my favorite live moments, because you just felt the emotion from Sasha. And how and for Naomi too, because we've been waiting for Naomi to get her moment for years now, it seems like, and she had all the momentum in the world, and to think Sasha hasn't won a WrestleMania match until 2022 is wild, but we were there for it, and it was amazing. That was one of the best WrestleManias of all time, and I'm not just saying that because I was there,
but I've heard that for those who watched it on TV, that was like literally the best. It was little to no build, and then we got 2 great nights of amazing matches. Like, I would have never thought any of those any of the celebrities, Logan Paul, Pat
actually
McAfee,
did well.
The Jackass match was like all of my voice was shot. Like,
I had no voice for like 2 days.
voice
legit.
was shot.
What got me was Stone Cold the second night. That's when our voices were already hanging on by a thread. And
no,
then
yours was hanging. My thread was cut.
Oh yeah, yours was gone. But mine was like, but then once Stone Cold came out, I was done. I woke up the next day like,
right, it was hard to talk and communicate.
And then what's so great too about like that live moment of being there was everything. But that Dallas trip in general, I feel like really was a game changer for us, like on a professional level, on a personal level. We both needed that reset. And we met so many people, we like networked so much, so like that whole experience was good. But I think I would love for us to talk about really quickly because we
didn't talk about how we got lost. We just got lost in the conversation.
We did. Okay, I'm so sorry.
So we were going after we saw Bianca's match, and I believe we saw the Jackass match or whatever. We was like, we're gonna go upstairs, get our stuff to come back down because we didn't want to keep running back and forth. We did not want to miss Austin and Kevin Owens. So at that expense, we missed Charlotte and Ronda because of the fact, like, these doors, like the door that we came in, they wasn't letting us back up through that way. So they kept saying, no, you kept going, you gotta keep going this way, you kept keep going this way. So we basically ended up on the other side of the stadium and walked for about 40 minutes.
And it's a long
walk.
Huge. So imagine like we were on the opposite side that we needed to be on. And one thing that was fucking frustrating. So also we're like counting down because like the next thing is the main event. So I'm stressed because I'm like, oh my God, I cannot miss any of like Stone Cold. Like what the hell? So we're stressed. And then another annoying thing is that no one that worked at AT&T Stadium except for that sweet old man knew anything. I want to say Richard.
I think yes. I think it was Richard.
But like no one knew anything. We were like, excuse me, we're trying to get to the press room, and like no one knew what was up. And we were like, what the hell? But we ended up making it. But
thanks
it just
Richard.
Added this.
I hope all is well with him. He looked like he was literally, guys, this man, he was literally about like in his 80s, early 90s, still working. Like the caregiver in me was just like, how are you getting home?
Yes.
Do you have a ride? Like I was really about to ask one of my friends, hey, we're gonna make sure he gets home because
and he actually pulled out a
map, a paper map.
And a pen, and I was like, it was just the most adorable like old person thing to do. We were like,
it was so cute.
I mean, he wasn't as helpful as I would have liked him to be, but it was a nice moment.
That was the most help we got from anybody.
You're right, actually. He
was like, no, he was helpful because he also told the woman in the elevator where we had to go and how to get to the other side. So he was the most helpful out of everybody. So if you're listening to this and you're from Dallas and you're in AT&T Stadium, he also said he works at the sheriff's department or somewhere nearby. Like he worked very close in the area. Please give him our regards. Okay,
he's still working. He's still getting up in the morning, and he has a life still. Like that,
he should not be getting up in the morning to go to work at his age. He should be enjoying retirement.
Maybe he got bored.
Listen, I mean, hey, but thank you so much for your
help. That was very
memorable. But we got our stuff. We was able to get our stuff. We met a lot of dope journalists and other people in the press box. Yeah. And we went downstairs and we went all the way down. I was like, P, I'm gonna see if we can go all the way down just for you.
Like to the floor.
The floor. So
we were able to go. We were like, you know what? Let's just see where this gets us.
Right. And it got us to the floor.
Yeah. And that was the best moment of like my life, I think.
So I guess we can both say the entire as a whole of WrestleMania 38, but witnessing Stone Cold, Bianca, Sasha, Naomi,
Cody Rhodes.
The return of Cody Rhodes.
That's on both of our lists because I was never a huge Cody Rhodes fan, and I didn't want to believe the rumors that he was coming back because I'm like, you know how WWE is. Like, I could have been something so stupid, so I didn't want to get my hopes up or anything. But then experiencing that moment live as a wrestling fan and a wrestling journalist, I guess you want to say. I can't even express how magical that moment was when he came out. Like, oh my God, that was like, wow.
True. So is my goal or your goal?
I wanted to bring up one thing that we were able to do together. Was a Hall of Fame moment. because not a lot of people go to Hall of Fame. You know what I mean? Like, we've actually been to a couple of them. We went to
this
the
is our second one.
Yeah, we went to the one for 35 at Barclays Center, and then we went to the one in Dallas with the Undertaker. So let's talk about some of those moments, because we were actually there too when Bret Hart got attacked.
And
That was
Scott
fun.
and Dawson at the time.
Yes. Put the beat
Obliterated.
And Ronda Rousey's husband
obliterated that dude's face. His face literally spread across, like his nose. His nose is worse than that Becky picture P got behind her.
It was bad. Like, that guy made the biggest mistake he would ever.
And I called it. Can we just say that I called it? I said, I was like, oh, Becky and Steph are together before.
Oh my God, I swear, she's so right.
It was known. And he was like, no, they're not. They're just friends. I said, okay, they're sitting together. They're together. Now look, now they married. They got a child. You know what, Becky? I think I'm like your unofficial child's godmother.
Because and I think they came out as a couple, like maybe 6 months later. And I swear, because we were so close at one point.
No, it wasn't 6 months later they came out as a couple. It was right after Rollins won his title, and that picture went viral of them kissing before she won hers.
Oh yeah, well, they ended up coming out as a couple at some point after that. Is my point.
You
is
said
like
6 months.
Before,
not that long.
But beforehand, we were like mad close, and you were like, "Yo, I think they're together." And I was like, "You think? I don't know." And then they came out.
I called it. My predictions be spot on. Okay,
also, yeah, they really do. I also like seeing, like, being there when China was inducted. I know it wasn't her induction; it was DX's induction. But that Hall of Fame in general was good for like our generation, because you had DX. Harlem Heat, Stacy Keibler, or Tori Wilson.
No, it was Tori Wilson.
It was like people from like our era. Like, we got to see DX be
the Heart Foundation.
The Heart Foundation. We got to see DX be inducted. Like, that was like our childhood, like, wrapped up in one. And then just hearing them talk about China. I know we've talked about this experience before, but hearing Triple H and all of them talk about China in such a high regard after sort of like acting like she didn't fucking exist was something I needed to see, I
think the best part of it was Stephanie chanting "Thank you, China" with everybody else.
That was like, ooh.
I was like,
this is happening.
I was like, hey P, you think she gonna get mad? You think she gonna get mad?
Right.
But I also feel like although it was messed up on how China was let go, I don't 100% feel like it was all Stephanie's fault, because at the same time where Stephanie and Triple H were doing their storyline, Triple H was still with China. So it took a lot. It was a lot of things. I don't think it was just like Stephanie talking about Daddy, I don't want her here. Do something with her because I'm in love with Hunter, because she was in a whole nother relationship too.
Yeah.
So we can't just fault Stephanie. So I feel like I needed to see that. And then this Hall of Fame, we can say that we went to an Undertaker TED Talk.
Yo, that was amazing.
That's it. Like, we went to an Undertaker TED Talk.
He came out with his mic and said, "I'm going."
He calls it the Janet Jackson mic.
It was. That's what me and my sister call him, because she used to wear them. So she could dance and stuff. So I was like, "Ooh, Undertaker want to be able to, like, walk around, do his gestures, like." And he did. He really. It was so good. He really touched on a little bit of everything except for Mick Foley, which was interesting.
And he teared up. He cried.
He teared up a couple. First of all, that standing ovation that he was given, I think it lasted like maybe 5 minutes. Like, I don't even think I'm exaggerating, but like
it was like a 5 to 6 minute ovation,
because we couldn't stop cheering for him. Like, he deserved every minute of it, and it was great. It was seeing Sharmell, like, that black love with her and Booker T, and like seeing her get recognized.
I wonder if I could use part of her speech for when I get married for my wedding vows.
Right? Oh my God, she looks so regal. And then Hall of Fame in general is always a great experience because it's something so different. It's a wrestling show, but it's one of a kind, and I'm so glad that we were able to go to two. Who would have thought we would go to like 2 Hall of Fames? But we'll be there every year because
listen, God willing, as long as God allows us
to do so. Been happening. Like, whoa. Okay. So what's your next
one? What's my next one? Where's my list? My next one. Okay, so we talked about the return of Cody Rhodes. We talked about Bianca's entrance. We talked about WrestleMania, women's WrestleMania match. The 4 Horsewomen tag team match at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
I still have that on video. I have that on video.
Oh my God. So for us, like being like those wrestling girls, being that we cover women's wrestling and what the Four Horsewomen mean to women's wrestling right now, to be able to say we saw Bayley and Sasha Banks versus Charlotte and Becky in a tag team match at Madison Square Garden, like that is like fucking huge. Like that was September 2019, and we saw that. It was amazing.
I just don't even have words for it.
Yeah, we really saw it. Like I was
because the hype. It was crazy because the week before, that's when Bayley turned heel, and she was telling Sasha to stop beating Becky with the kendo sticks or the chair, or whatever it was. And then Bayley just went on and started going ham. So you're not gonna think that it's gonna be Charlotte to come rescue Becky.
Yeah.
Especially because they weren't really on TV as much together. They were also kind of feuding with each other too.
Yeah.
So it wasn't gonna. I mean, in WWE fashion, that was good booking. That was good creative.
Yeah. It was.
But I'm just like,
we really could say we experienced that. Again, moments that most people can't say that they would. That's like a dream scenario to see live, and we saw it live.
And I also want to talk about the amount of times that Undertaker popped up out of nowhere.
I was just thinking the same thing. Like how lucky we are. There are wrestling fans that say like they've been watching wrestling for 30 years and they have never seen the Undertaker live. We have seen him maybe 5 times now, and every time he popped up,
like in New York, than that.
We were there. Like it just so happened. Like we never. Like I remember one time we were like getting our tickets and we heard his music and we were like, "Oh shit, we could have called him again." Mm-hmm. So shout out to that, because that's a really great feat for a wrestling fan. Like we actually were in a stadium or an arena where the lights went dark and you heard the gong and he came out randomly. Like we experienced that shit.
We did.
In a TED Talk.
In a TED Talk. You know what other one popped in my head? And this one pulls at the heartstrings. And I know you know what I'm about to say.
I don't.
You know? When Jeff Hardy came out and the little boy was like crying, he was like, Jeff, oh my God.
He was shaking like
he hasn't been no more than 4 or 5 years old, and this little boy, I think I have it recorded. If not, it's just one of them moments where
it really was the sweetest moment. And like for us, it was even sweeter because we grew up on Jeff Hardy, so we know his effect. He's always been a fan favorite, but he is 4 or 5 years old.
4 or 5 years old.
To see that Jeff Hardy still has that effect on kids. And I gotta say, talking about live shows, is I love being, not too many of them about kids, but I love being around kids at wrestling shows because that pureness of their like excitement of everything and their involvement, it just reminds you of like why wrestling is so cool. Like it reminds you of like why we love this shit. And it's kind of like humbles you a little bit, because like, you know, we could be like, especially having a podcast and on social media, like, you know, it could be real negative, complaining, and you know, blah blah blah. But then when you go to a wrestling show and you see like these little girls dressed as Bayley, or like, you know, cheering their or like now it's okay. So Bianca has replaced Bayley, because before you would have like 9 out of 10 kids dressed as Bayley. Now you have the girls with the Bianca braid, which is just adorable. And it reminds you of like why this is so cool. And I love that. I really, really love that. So we're going to our first AEW show, hopefully next month, or I don't know when this comes out, but we'll be going to our first AEW show. And everyone tells me it's a very different vibe, because, you know, WWE is very much catered to children. AEW is very much catered to like mid-20s, 30s. So I'm very intrigued of what that vibe is going to be. And because
I just want to go to sing Jungle Boy's music with everybody else. Yeah. Like that's that is literally,
it's so cute.
That, oh my God, I just need to hear it. I need to fan out like I would have done if I was at Rumble and saw Bad Bunny like come out the way. I was sitting on my computer crying. I need to do that for Jungle Boy, just so I can sing his music.
Yeah.
Promise you.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. And you know, we're, you know, very, I won't say we're and we're definitely not anti-AEW, but like we're easing into it and we're digging, you know, a lot of things that they're doing. So we'll definitely do like a recap of our experience going to our first AEW show. Jade Cargill personally invited us. She said we were baddies.
And that's
So
period.
hopefully we get some camera. I don't know if we will, but we'll be there in May. But what was another moment that I experienced? Like, oh, okay. So Brie Bella coming back. So this was fun because I don't know if this was like the SmackDown after SummerSlam or before SummerSlam or something like that. I'm not.
It was
remember.
after Daniel Bryan lost to the Miz,
Mm-hmm.
and then they were going to fight in the tag team against. They was doing it again. I forgot what pay-per-view it was for, and they're talking, and I was like, "P, get ready because Brie Bella's gonna come out. Here she go." No, she's not. P, Brie Bella's gonna come out. Get your phone ready. Get
I was
your
like,
camera.
I don't think so.
She's like, no, I don't think so. I don't think she's going out. And then once Marisa took about, all right, Daniel, you should go. You're enough already. Retire again. You need to change your name to Daniel Bella. And everybody was like, yes, yes, yes. And then you hear it's Brie mode, and I'm like, I told you. Listen, I'm over here recording. Like, I told you.
Yep.
And she's like, oh my God. I'm like, Brie.
That was a great moment. First of all, we got to just give it up for Brie's music. She has one of the best theme songs that just make you hype. It makes you feel good. Like, it really makes you feel good. Like, I love her theme. So to experience that was amazing. And then she was defending Daniel Bryan, and then you have Maurice in the Miz. So for me, you know, I love Maurice. I love The Miz. I love Daniel Bryan. And I love Brie Bella. So it was to experience that in Brooklyn was amazing. Shout out to Barclays Center because I think I've been to Barclays Center maybe 20 times in the last 3 years just going to wrestling shows alone and Jay-Z concerts alone.
I feel like I've been to every wrestling show except for the one where The Rock surprised everybody and came out and beat up Rusev, and I was supposed to go and I was not there.
Oh my God.
I was supposed to be there that night.
Get your ass here.
I think God is really like telling me. Well, I always say I'm gonna die if I see him. I mean, and we know that's not what's really. I don't want that to happen. But I think God is just like really preparing me because I feel like it's gonna be something bigger with those wrestling girls and The Rock. That's just gonna surpass me just seeing him. You know, it's gonna surpass. It's gonna. So, just know when the day comes, just make sure y'all check on me.
Okay, I got you, girl. I'm already preparing for whatever, first aid things that I need to do. If I need to, be like the Michael Jackson concert where we have a stretcher waiting, for you to take you out. Like whatever is needed, I will make sure that you have what you need.
Right. Okay. For sure. Another moment, and this wasn't a good moment. This was like kind of it was an assy moment. It was a kind of assy moment. But when they fired Mick Foley from GM, and we were there for that too because they kept cutting off his mic.
I don't think I was there for that.
Oh, I was there for that. They kept cutting off his mic, and they fired him in Brooklyn. I said,
oh my God, I would have been the way I feel about Mick Foley. I probably would have started crying.
Oh, I was ready to fight. I was ready to fight.
I'd have been like, and cutting off his mic, I would have been tight.
I would have been one of them fans that would have got banned because I was ready to fight. You don't do that to my Mick, okay?
No. You did not do that to my Mick at all.
Okay, another moment I got to see Stone Cold twice before you did.
Oh, nice.
I saw him at Raw 25 in Brooklyn. And that was the most funniest thing ever. Just because Stone Cold, you already knew it was going to happen. Because Vince was just like, I could have sworn you was with me on that one. I don't know. Who was I with then?
I don't know. Maybe Cha-Cha?
It sounds about right, but I don't know. But anyway, Vince, Shane and Stephanie and Vince in the ring, they talk about it. They got a plaque for Vince from Brooklyn. He's like, this is all you got? I built this, da da da. He's like, what can I expect from people from Brooklyn and like going in? So he's talking, and I'm just like, oh man, where's P? Literally, that glass break, and Vince does that gulp. He does that gulp thing. So Stephanie hightails it out the ring. She's like, fuck this. I'm not getting stunned. I'm not getting beer thrown on me. I'm not doing any of this. So then Stone Cold was like, just, doing his Stone Cold talk or whatever. And Stone Cold, or Vince was just like, hey, don't stun me. Stun Shane. He could take it. He's been working out. He
Yo,
just had a
he's
fight with the
no
Undertaker. He's about to fight the
good.
Undertaker at Mania. And he was like, Steve, please, I'm older now. I'm in the AARP club. I'm this, I'm that.
Vince
Vince
is
wasn't
so
trying to
good.
hear. I mean, Steve was not trying to hear it. And when
He's never trying to hear it when it comes like, no, you're getting stunned. I think we all
he
know.
stunned
What happened.
Vince, he stunned Shane after he did the beer with him and stuff. It was amazing. I don't even think Austin spoke. I just think he used his actions to come out and
it's like it's almost like he didn't need to because
yeah,
like you know the vibes.
And then we saw him at Madison Square Garden where I got you crying.
Yeah,
You were so happy.
amazing.
And I met your dad that night.
Good, and you're like he loves Krista B so much.
I'm the long lost daughter.
He really is. Like, you really are. And one funny thing about my dad, so, like, when we first started doing the show, of course, like, I downloaded YouTube on his phone, Spotify on his phone, so he could watch it. He watched every episode. But then, after a while, he kind of fell off. And, it's fine, whatever.
It's fine.
But one thing that he watches religiously is Thirsty Thursday. He loves it. He looks forward to it every month. He'll be like, you guys are recording tonight? He'll make sure he's, like, ready in front of his phone or whatever. And he loves you and Bakey. Like, he thinks, like, y'all are, like, he thinks Bakey is just, like, the most, and she is, like, her energy is just so, like, you just want to watch because she's amazing. And she thinks you and her are just so funny. So shout out to my dad. I wanted to also shout out, like, some MVPs for our live show moments. So, like, Memo from your friend, he works at Barclay. He has always looked out for us, and he is someone that I have known as long as I've known you, that I just love from the bottom of my heart. Like, he is like the sweetest person ever, and he always looks out for us. And he got us front row a couple times.
He did. He got us real close at Hall of Fame. Yep. He did. I also have to shout out Cha Cha because when we was first starting,
God, he is
when we was first starting, he was giving out our business cards. He was like getting the crowd ready. Like, he had a whole section pulling out their phones just to follow those wrestling girls, although they was calling him D'Lo Brown. I have to shout out my goddaughter, who me and her go all the time. I love you, baby girl. And I also have to shout out Dwayne and Daria because they came and sat with me.
They have a good time.
They have a good time. They sat with me. They oh my God. They will literally let me talk all wrestling stuff, and they'll be like, okay. Like, Dwayne actually watches it now. What's on wrestling? All right, I'm turning to it.
He watches Nia it now. Too. Nia is slowly getting into it. He was gonna go to the show last night. I'm like, look at you.
He should have, but then I would have to punch him in his throat because his commentary be off the wall sometimes. I'd be like, really?
Oh, he's wild.
Really? But yeah, so shout out to those MVPs. You want to go at your last moment? Or do you
I do, and then I want to talk about Jobber Slam and like other indie shows real quick.
All right.
So my last one. So it was actually very recently. And I'm sure there's more moments that we haven't thought of, and we'll maybe do a part 2 in the future. But I was at the MSG show, the Road to WrestleMania show, live. And my boyfriend surprised me with front row. I didn't know that, so I knew I was going, but I didn't know they were front row seats. So I was like, oh my God. So I was front row, and it was a good show. It was a house show, and I got to see the New Day. I got to see the Usos in the New Day. I mean, you could literally never go wrong with them. But I think the best moment for me that night was seeing Brock and Roman. So Roman had a match earlier that night, I want to say against Seth Rollins, which is, a banger, as you would imagine. And then Brock came out in the main event, and he squashed, I think, Austin Theory. And then Roman and the Usos came out and like fucked him up. So all that promo footage that they were showing to pump their WrestleMania match at MSG, like, I was literally right there front row, so close. And I also just have to shout out Paul fucking Heyman. When I say he is in character the entire match, he is arguing with fans. He is like, he needs an Emmy or an Oscar award or something, because he is like just made it so great. So that was like, besides Mania, that was like my last recent like really cool live moment. Yeah, it was great.
Okay. My ultimate favorite live moment. And I remember it was SummerSlam. It was Monday Night Raw after SummerSlam. It was literally the end of the show. And the entire time, I said, and literally, right, I said to P, I was just like, they usually have surprises. They don't have any surprises tonight. I said, now I'm about to go home. F this. Literally, as soon as I said that, and Braun Strowman's in the ring about to cash in his money in the bank on Roman, all you hear is Sierra Hotel, India, something, whatever. Delta Shield. When I say, and I promise you, everybody who was with me that night
Screamed at the top of your lungs.
and then just go back to watch that episode, they say they still hear me screaming. Like they feel like they hear me screaming.
Ever heard, and I'm gonna find that footage too, because I had to get you, because first of all, I just know how much you love the Shield, and I didn't see that coming. That was a dope surprise.
I didn't see that coming either.
No, and you screamed so loud and for so long. I was like, how is she?
And I had a Shield shirt on that night.
Boom! It was literally the perfect moment. I'm so happy.
Yo, when I say that part, that still gives me chills. Like that part right there, and I'm just like, oh my gosh! And I was like, do it, do the thing, and they did it, and we were like, oh my god, like best moment ever. And then it's funny because right after that, we had left out on the side, and we had saw Dawson. What's his name? I can't think of the other one name. Not from Street Profits wasn't even there yet. Talk about the new FTR, whatever it was before.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And I was like, bye, Dawson, with my scratchy voice, and he mocked me. He was like, okay, bye, get home safe. He was like, is your voice okay? And I'm like, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. And we also saw, no, that wasn't the time we saw Xavier Woods, but we did take a picture. I made Pete take a picture. Let's take a picture of Xavier Woods. But that Shield moment. Moment of silence for that Shield moment. Sorry. Because, oh man. Like.
It was amazing.
So my moments, I thought of one more, but I'm not trying to bring my high down. So it's another Shield moment, but it was Dean Ambrose last night when they went off the air and we were there.
That was sad, yeah.
And it wasn't really that sad because he was cursing, and I was like, oh, I like that.
Yeah, I do like the cursing.
But yeah, so that Shield moment right there, forever etched right here in the front of my head.
That was a good one, and that's what I love too, just about wrestling in general, is that you get to have these moments that you don't experience, like you don't expect, and then it's like a moment that you can still live, or you can still feel the goosebumps, you can still feel the chills. Like there's not many things that can still give you those feelings after so long, like sports, of course, like, I don't watch sports, so I'm just talking shit, but like, okay, a good touchdown, or, the dunk, or like, Michael Jordan saving the game. Like, yeah, those are like really like, goosebump moments, but I just don't think anything can tug at the heartstrings and the emotional that wrestling can bring you. Like, I just don't think so.
I remember I was at a cookout. I was at my friend's house. We had a barbecue, and we used to sit in his basement all the time. We were in high school, so now we're adults, but we're still in the basement. So I went downstairs. I'm like, okay, I gotta watch at least the last part of Monday night. It was Memorial Day. I gotta watch wrestling. Come on now. So I'll go downstairs, and Chris comes down with me. So I'm like, I'm watching it. So those endings where everybody's just coming from everywhere and it's a lit situation. It was one of them endings. I know it was the Shield in it. I think it was the Authority. I think it was Daniel Bryan. Like, it was crazy. And I'm sitting here hyped, like, oh my God. I said, Chris, don't tell me that didn't get you hype. He goes, nah, that that right there, that did get me hype. I'm not even gonna lie. Mind you, person who never watched wrestling, never was really into it, and I got him hype. So when I bring him to a show, he's gonna be a wrestling fan.
Oh,
He's gonna be a wrestling fan. Like, that's
I mean,
it.
he has to be a wrestling fan off of like association, period.
I
Because it's
mean,
like if
true, but
live shows are really fun, especially because like I like to drink during shows because I just really just be living like my best life, screaming at the top of my lungs. I love live shows, but I do appreciate. So we're WWE girls. So once we started the podcast, we never missed a show in New York. I think we might have missed one or two, maybe. But one thing that we were able to do recently that I appreciate was going to more indie shows because that's where it really starts. And like that's the wrestlers that really need the support from fans. And especially like the Black wrestling scene is really thriving and it always has been. Shout out to the hashtag Black Wrestling Draws. But now I feel like there's like this resurgence and I really love that we are like getting a part of it and going to shows.
So with that being said, we definitely got an announcement for y'all. Y'all need to mark your calendars. Y'all need to save the date because on August 20th in Brooklyn.
Yep.
In Brooklyn, Jabba Slam is returning.
I can't wait.
We are excited. We have Jabba Slam returning August 20th. We also have Black Wrestle Fest.
Yep.
June 18th and June 19th. Those wrestling girls are part of it.
Yep.
So please come out to support. Shout out to Pretty Hills. They're doing that.
I think it's going to be wrestling, panels, like a little bit of everything. So follow the social media. We'll keep you updated.
And definitely celebrating our Blackness because why not?
Yes, on Juneteenth weekend.
Because why not?
And this is the first summer where it seems like the most normal since the pandemic and stuff. So I think going to more shows, like this summer is going to be on fire and I cannot fucking wait. May 20th, I'm not sure when this episode drops, but if May 20th, Invictus Pro Wrestling is throwing a show and it's gonna be like, oh god, the takeover.
Like I'm too torn to
me too between Takeover and Shane Taylor Productions. So Takeover has Jay Bougie, PJ Savage. They are from Brooklyn, New York based
area,
and then Shane Taylor Productions.
Shout out to Gleason's, Johnny Rod's gym. That's where they trained at.
And we did a little bit of work with them too. So this is really for me. So Jay Bougie is my god brother. So we grew up watching wrestling together. So I've been watching his career. So we kind of like try to just watch our careers thrive, on the sidelines. But I know that this is like one of the biggest matches of his career. So I'm so excited to be there. It's in Jersey. We'll post the link everywhere. Even if you can't make it, buy a ticket, support the show. It's huge. Subway Mania is going to be there. They're one of the sponsors. So I think as the time goes by leading up to the show, it's going to be more surprises. So if you're in the New Jersey area, I know our Maryland family's coming up. I know Brian H. Waters will be there. Our WrestleMania group chat will be there. So it's going to be a good time. And those wrestling girls will be there. So
those wrestling girls are going to be there. Period. I mean, this is not a wrestling related, but we still supporting Black people.
Yep.
After May 20th, make sure May 28th you're there to support my event called Unapologetically Eclectic presents Take Up Your Spaces Brunch and Panel. Although yes, it's focused around women and women doing what they do best in the spaces that they're in. Men can definitely come out and support. It's gonna be.
I mean, it's gonna be a bunch of baddies, empowered baddies, successful baddies. Like come
period.
Through.
And I'm hosting.
Or buy a ticket and support. And Krista, okay, we have to shout you out really quick, girl, because Krista B has been #booked and busy.
Oh my goodness.
She's been on her hosting shit. So if you know Krista B, like I'm not surprised that you're really good at hosting events. You've hosted our events. You like, lead our show and everything. But you've been doing your thing.
Thank you.
I love to see it.
I appreciate that so much. I really don't talk about my stuff. I really just like for it to be posted and people see what I do. But when I get compliments like yours, when I get compliments like Mr. Black, when I get compliments from my closest who are watching me, it makes me feel like I'm doing the right thing. So thank you so much. And you doing your thing too, sis. After WrestleMania, you was able to pitch some stories about wrestling.
Yeah.
You was able to do it. So you better keep going because next year is going to be bigger and better. And
God, I can't wait. Can I also just shout out to, I don't know if we did already because we've been doing a lot of shit today, but Mr. Black from Jobber Tears Podcast made his referee debut at the Battle Club Pro show.
Battle Club Pro show,
in Brooklyn.
Sure did.
Shout out to that. Congratulations. That was amazing. and Brian H. Waters too, because I don't know.
He produced our episode on the Masked Man podcast.
Yes, so proud of him.
If y'all haven't listened to that, y'all need to listen to it. I don't even like to listen to myself speak after we're done, and I'll listen to the episode.
But you were on fire.
It's literally, I literally went back to listen to it, and the part about me writing the creative on the Rock Roman match, it gave me chills. And it gave me some type of sentiment, like, you're gonna do this, like, it's gonna happen. I don't know if it's true. I don't know if that's what I want to believe in my head.
It's, if you feel that way, it's gonna happen.
But child, let me tell you, if I get a call or email or something, I'm out to Connecticut. That's it.
Yep. It's a wrap. You moving to Stanford?
No, I'm not moving. I'm just gonna go for the day. Yeah.
Oh man.
In the room with these two men, I'm just like, oh, God, save me. Like, I've been in a room with Roman before. I interviewed him before, but it's this one. It's this one right there.
Ooh, we're gonna see him. Don't worry.
You can see the whole thing.
Something's gonna happen. That's a fire ass fucking poster. That is.
I got it. Fire. I got it in support of his 30 years at Survivor Series, in which we were disappointed in.
He better.
But that was also a good moment for me. I was in Survivor Series. I got to see Jeff. I got to meet Mouse Jones. Shout out to Chanel, who was able to put that together for me and able to let me be in a room and take up that space and talk about those wrestling girls. Yes. So shout out to Chanel on that as well. Excuse me. Make sure you guys follow us on all social media platforms. Those wrestling girls on IG, Twitter, Instagram, IG, Twitter, Facebook discussion groups, Patreon, subscribe to our YouTube. Follow us on Twitch. We're on TikTok. We're literally everywhere. We're doing it all. Make sure you follow us. Make sure you follow me, Miss_Krista B_ or Miss_Krista B, Twitter and Instagram. And make sure you follow the lovely Queen PR, Queen 3_ PR on all social media platforms. Yeah. And on that note, it's your girl Krista B
and Queen PR.
And we're out. Bye. Yay.
Queen PR, Krista B, those wrestling girls, TWG, Black excellence, making it effortless. Podcast bringing up women and wrestling. Let's go.